Welcome back. Let's now try and understand whether the industry is ready for the tokenization transition. Ritu Singh has been tracking this story very closely. Ritu, what is the RBI's view when it comes to representations of different bodies seeking more time? And how are the likes of MasterCard, Visa, SBI, how ready are they?
Well, Parikshit, for you to keep in mind, there have already been multiple extensions that have been granted. And like we were saying earlier, this guideline is not really new. It was first spoken about in 2020 with regards to data storage. The tokenization guidelines, rather, were introduced in 2021. The deadline was extended from January to then June and now September end. So multiple extensions have happened. Enough time has been given to the industry. And RBI itself, in its last notice on this, said that considerable progress has been made in terms of token creation by the industry. While we have about 100 crore cards outstanding, overall for the industry, various companies have given statements as to the extent to which they're ready. For instance, take Paytm, which has said about 52 million cards have been tokenized across cardholders of MasterCard, Visa and RuPay as of September. MasterCard said 2 lakh online merchants have been enabled for card-on-file tokenization as of July. Visa said more than 100 million such tokens has been created by Visa, and this is as of June, so more perhaps would have been created since. An SBI card, also like you said earlier, has been ready with the technology to comply come the 1st of October. So in terms of compliance, it does seem that the industry has been making strides, but as we've been hearing from the participants here, perhaps at the merchants' end also there are still some concerns. Vishal, let me toss this to you on that note. In your conversation with the regulator, has there been any sense given to you at all that the RBI may consider yet another extension?
So we have requested for a variety of reasons for which the extension needs to happen. And as you rightly pointed out, one of them has been that as a merchants, we are not ready. And the primary cause of that is, this whole token implementation is a sequential process. So when there's an announcement by a bank issuer like SBI Card, they are ready, it means now BillDesk and Paytm and PayU, who are aggregators and processing with them, now they have to test, comply and ensure that the transactions are being processed in a compliant manner, in a tokenized manner, and then they have to demonstrate readiness. Once they demonstrate readiness, that is when it comes to the merchants for readiness. In all our representations to the regulator, we have always said that give merchants an additional 3 to 6 months after the rest of the ecosystem is ready, and do not club it with rest of the industry saying that industry has to be ready by so and so time. That is never going to happen. We are awaiting RBI's response. We just sent out a representation yesterday and today, and we are awaiting the response on what they think about it. But the idea from an empire perspective is that the merchants will always take 3 to 6 months more time after the rest of the ecosystem is ready to be compliant and without impacting the business significantly.
Okay. Now, Vishal, you said that the industry, the merchant payment companies would need at least maybe 3 to 5 months to comply with the tokenization norms. And there is a chain that has to be followed. If there is no change by the 1st of October, what will be the course of action then onwards for you? So
end of the day, we have to comply with what the regulation is. And we are piping up all our systems to ensure that we are purging all the cards by the deadline. Should there be no extension. The impact of that is that the customers, as Harsh said, the customers will face significant challenges, especially when auto debit needs to happen. I think it is clear that for one-time transactions, the friction point would not be so much. It will still be there, but the customers can still enter their card details and process the transaction through a guest checkout mechanism. However, for a recurring transaction where the customer is not present at the time of deduction, that cannot happen without tokenization. In fact, if the customer does not agree to tokenize the cards, then a subscription or a recurring transaction for them becomes moot. It's not going to happen in the first place. So these are the challenges which the recurring and subscription merchants are really facing. And as we are compliant as a merchant body, and also each of our members want to ensure they are compliant by 1st of October. Our goal is definitely to ensure that all the cards are purged, which is the primary requirement for us, and we will do that should there be no extension. But it will impact our business.
You're saying it's impacting business. And Ashish, give us a sense of the number of companies and who could be impacted, and what will be the financial impact if there has been any sort of assessment, or if you put any sort of view on that to the RBI and the government?
See, last year when we were implementing the e-mandate requirement, we did go back to the industry to get a sense of, what has been the disruption, and we found significant disruption in terms of, renewals and so on and so forth. And this is what we have also communicated to the RBI, that given the experience last year, this time we should definitely avoid this. And clearly, given the fact that a lot of digital subscriptions of services are going to be hit, if, at least on the recurring payment, if it doesn't go through. For merchant, it's clearly disruption in business. And depending upon services which are more critical, where consumer may have the right incentive to immediately figure out an alternate mode of payment other than card, and so on and so forth. But there are a lot of other discretionary kind of payments where it may not be that kind of an urgent response, where to offer more and more, get more and more consumers onto the digital platforms. But what needs to be avoided is this teething trouble of crossing this hump of actually implementing this. And I think this can be done. RBI has been quite, considerate in terms of extending the deadlines. And as I think Arunaji said, it is possible to now look at least from a recurring payment point of view, a one more extension to make sure that industry has got adequate testing experience, and what is the actual impact in terms of business. I think that we will know immediately from October 1 if it is not extended. I think within 2 months we will know the impact. Yeah.
All right, so we'll see what happens, especially after the 1st of October. But Harsh, final thoughts. We understand most of the concern is on the recurring payment side. What sort of customer awareness initiatives has Policy Bazaar taken to ensure that customers also know that this is going to be an issue and they take steps to remedy that?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, in case of recurring payments, there is no customer intervention is required. All the things has to be done at the payment aggregators and the payment gateways who store the cards at their end, and we do not store the cards. So the important point here is that the payment aggregator has to ensure that the tokens has to migrate seamlessly. If this is the only way, because customers has already given the consent to Policy Bazaar to store his card and do the auto pay deductions on monthly basis. So I don't think the customer intervention or awareness is in this time is required. The more important point is that the payment aggregators and network has to do the work at their end proactively.
All right, and that is what the MPAI, or Merchant Payments Alliance, is saying, that the payment aggregators are not ready, the payment gateways are not ready as well. Vishal Mehta, Harshvardhan and Ashish Agrawal, thank you very much for joining us on this program. From Ritu and me, goodbye and thanks for watching.